I created these words lists, and it was to teach myself to work with them, and also to teach my son, who had just turned 10 at the time, and we were not doing well. So a little background to my story is that I fell in love really early. I was 18, got married, we had a child, got divorced, and my son was a year old. And by the time he was 4, I was struggling so much as a single mom that when his dad said, "Can I have him?" I said, "Okay." Right? I thought it would be a year. A year stretched into 4 years. And then I got a really big wake-up call from Spirit, and I needed to go to Marin to be with my son. And Scott played a magical role. So at this time when my son's 10 years old, he'd been living primarily with his father for 6 years. And now he'd been living with me again for 9 months. And I adore my son. And even while we were going through this, it's like, it's my son. But he was so upset with how much I'd been gone that he was yelling and screaming, "I hate you." He was wrapping himself around my leg and wouldn't let me go, and just screaming. And that was an everyday experience that I had. "I hate you. I want to live with my dad."
While also holding on to you.
Yeah. Something a facilitator, of course, would recognize. So I made these cards, and we had another blowout. This time he had some friends over at the house, and it was time for the friends to go home. And he was upset. "No, friends are not going home. You're so mean. I hate you." And lots of screaming. And we had made an agreement. There was something he really, really wanted, and in this case, it was video games that were violent, and of course, as a parent, I was concerned that that would cause more violence. And so we created this game. I said, "If you can show me that you can practice tools that create peacefulness, then I'm willing to do this." And so we created negotiations, a point system. So it's the first time I've pulled out these cards. Every time he plays the game, he gets a point. When he gets to 100, he gets this. Then I figure he's had enough training, right? So I pull this out, and these are the feelings of unmet needs cards. And I start flipping through. I said, "Okay, the first game, I'm going to imagine what you're feeling and what you're needing, and you just tell me if I'm right or not," right? And so I'm pulling them out, and a lot of these are yeses and nos, and I start to figure out what he might be feeling, right? And after I pull out some of the feelings, I went through the whole deck, of course. So I go through the feelings and the needs, and I lay them out, and he basically says, "That's right, maybe there's a little change here and there," and so it's my practice. I'm just practicing empathy, and then I say, "Okay, now for the second one, let's have you guess what I might be feeling and what I might be needing." And so he's flipping the cards over. He's flipping the cards over, and as he flips them and he starts to identify my feelings and needs, his accuracy is right on. And I had no idea that he could tune into me at that level. And it moved me to tears. I'm surprised I'm not crying at this point, because usually I break down crying. We're in such a good space right now. This one piece, when he saw the impact his actions had on me, and he saw that he could tune into me, he had a new relationship to who he was in my life. We never had an upset again.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, when I say never, we've had a few tiffs in the past. He's 14 now. We've had a few tiffs in the past 14 years. We bring this up, we clear it out. So we didn't need to do 100 points. I came up with other creative things to do, but one time sitting down with this shifted our relationship with each other. Okay?
Yeah. What was on the cards?
What was on the cards?
Yeah.
What, these ones?
That you picked out.
These are the ones for him. Bored, lonely, hatred, restless, angry, frustrated, unhappy, jealous, violent, uncomfortable, needing play, laughter, joy, celebration, connection, and I didn't go through them all right here. My son still laughs at NBC, but he is very good at it. He just doesn't use the model. I regularly get feedback from other parents that they're amazed at his depth of listening, his care, and his understanding. Blown away. They said, I wish more adults were like that. So kids learn this really quickly. And this is a great way to get the words list into your mind, is to use cards. So you can figure out what part of the cup is half empty, what feelings and needs you have. You can look at what's part full. Look at your pleasant feelings and the needs that are met. And then once you have that full picture, then look at what virtues are you inspired to bring to the table. So this is actually, we ended up doing a lot more of these after a while than empathy, because we were running out of problems, and so we come up with something else. So we did a lot of, Jane, I want to acknowledge you for peacefulness. I really saw the way you were with this younger child, right? And I'd start to acknowledge him for things. Or Christmas would come around, and I'd have him write these beautiful Christmas cards to different family members where he was acknowledging them for their spiritual values and giving examples of how they showed up. And he brought tears to so many people's eyes in our family, which is impactful for him, right? Okay, so this is the super mobile version of the cards, because we've got, let's see, we've got the words list right here, and I really, really just want to encourage everybody, like the foundation to being able to run a really good practice group is to have this in your head so much that you don't have to refer back to it. So you can give somebody your full presence and your full listening, and be able to be right there with the empathy and the acknowledgement. Connect to their needs and help them create that, feelings are connected to needs. And acknowledge them for what they're doing well. When you acknowledge somebody for the beauty that's showing up and for the light that's showing up, it grows their light. Okay, so great practice to do in general. So, so what I'd love for us to do is a practice with this that you can do in a practice group, or in case of emergency. I've gone into a lot of homes where this is on the refrigerator, right? It's just magnet on the refrigerator, and in case of emergency, pull it down, use it, right? So the front side just gives, it's the Compassionate Connections teachings in a nutshell, showing that there's two ways of being. There's the Jacqueline Giraffe way of being, that everything we do, especially the out of pain, is driven by the desire to meet a precious need. A reminder that we have stories sometimes. We have that what am I telling myself that can perpetuate painful feelings. And that challenges our spiritual opportunity. A reminder that what you're telling yourself is suspect, right? The feelings are real, the story is suspect. Reminding that life is an opportunity to learn to love. This is from A Course in Miracles and a great song by Fantuzzi. and this is the affirmation, I am love, I am loved. Anytime you're finding yourself in a self-negating state, that can be just a great default affirmation to repeat in your mind until the self-negation dissipates. Okay, so with that, I would love to let's have people pair up, and we're going to do a practice that we would do inside of a practice group. And this is pretty easy to run, even if you don't have the words listed in your mind yet. This is easy to run because you have the reference sheet right there. So it's a really good beginning practice group, but it can work for anyone. So let's pair up.